Jeff Wilson started covering the Texas Rangers in 2008, though he'll never forget 2021. Out on his own, he decided it was time to do a podcast, but his wheels were spinning until a nerd came along. There's no going back now. Welcome to the Texas Rangers Baseball Podcast. Here's your host, Jeff Wilson, and the recliner nerd himself, John Moore.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Rangers Today Baseball Podcast. This is episode number 57. Today, Cody Freeman's going to be joining us. He's a Rangers catching prospect, also played a little bit of infield. Yep. But before we get to that, we always talk about the big league, and there is some big league news going on right now. Yep. Why don't you tell me what's going on and why I should be excited?
Well, the Rangers have just hired Bruce Bochy as their manager.
Who? Bruce Bochy? I mean, look, the news came out that they had talked to Bochy, but you talked to a couple guys who you were kind of wondering.
There were some thoughts like, does this guy who's been retired for a few years, who's done everything just about a manager can do, is the Rangers' job enough to get him out, of retirement, to pull him out? Was 1 year of Chris Young, was that 1 year enough of a link to be like, yeah, I want to work for this guy? The Rangers have lost 60 and 68 games the last 2 years. Would Bruce Bochy want a better opportunity right away to win? Father Time is not on his side.
No.
Do you want to win right away? Now, maybe he sees the pieces. Look, the Rangers have said, they spent last offseason. They've said they're going to spend this offseason. Their farm system is terrific.
It's in great shape.
There is a talent on the team. The nine spots in the batting order, you pretty much got them all. You could go with the offense that this team fielded at the end of last season, plus Mitch Garver. But yeah, the picture behind John here is a young Chris Young and a younger Bruce Bochy.
With a big hat.
With his big head. But I'm sure we'll all be making jokes about that later. But
yeah.
This is a big deal, man. This is This is
huge. Let me come at you from a fan perspective. I'm the Texas Ranger fan that grew up this way. This is the biggest manager hiring that I can remember going back. I remember the excitement, and I was old enough to remember when they hired Billy Martin.
Okay.
I was a kid, but Billy Martin hadn't won anything yet. He had not won with the Yankees yet. He had been fired from. He was with the Twins when he got fired.
Tigers, yeah.
Or the Tigers before he came down. Then he went to the Twins. But then he goes back to all those years with the Yankees. That's in the late 70s. We're talking 74, I think he was with the Rangers, 73, 74. I was young, but that was a huge deal. I remember my dad thought, this is 3 World Series. Beat the Rangers in the World Series.
The first one, yeah.
This is a huge hire. And this tells you this. And guys, this is not a joke. You should feel good about the Texas Rangers. This guy would not just take this job if he did not think something looked good here.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do it. Why would he? He's not going to come here if he looked at any part of it and went, hey, you guys are kind of far away. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's 68. He's not young. This is huge.
Yeah, and I'm sure there was a sales pitch that had to be made.
Well, sure.
And the thing I wonder now, when did this ball start rolling? I mean, Chris Woodward was fired in middle August. How soon did they start greasing the wheels? How soon did Chris Young say, "Hey, Bruce, are you interested?" Did he call on August? Chris Woodward was fired on August 15th. Did he call on August 16th? Did he call on August 13th?
Yeah.
When did this process start? That's pretty interesting. I'm sure that's something that'll be asked.
There was another president of baseball operations the day that Chris Woodward was fired.
Sure.
So did any conversation start before that with John? Who knows? I mean,
it's
Chris,
possible.
But after that was done, Chris takes over. God, that's a great question to ask. Did he reach out to Gage? So obviously the flight there that we heard about from Ken Rosenthal last week was a little more than gauging interest. Maybe he had already said, I'm open to this, and then he had to go tell him what all.
And maybe he was flying him home. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe he'd been here, toured the facilities, met with people, met with everybody he needed to meet with, and maybe this was, hey, we'll be in touch and see you next week. But the press conference is going to be Monday. This will
be out before then.
Yeah. So we won't have anything from that, though. At our YouTube channel, Rangers Day Baseball Podcast YouTube channel. There will be video of the press conference, I'm sure. So be sure to check that out in the coming days. But man, we got a lot to talk about now. It's been quiet, not a lot that's been going on, a lot of speculation, and now all of a sudden we've got the biggest news of the offseason. I don't care what anybody says.
It's the first thing they had to do, and
this is the biggest thing you're going to do every time you hire a manager. It's the biggest thing you do that offseason.
Absolutely.
And so now you can start to wonder, all right, Bruce Bochy, I think he's quoted in Joe Madden's book coming up that managing isn't as fun anymore because of analytics. Well, has he had a change of heart because the Rangers have invested a lot of money in analytics? Does Chris Young, who is a player, is he going to let his manager manage more? I'm not saying John Daniels didn't do that, but there's a perception that front offices are involved heavily in the day-to-day operation of clubs game to game.
Right.
Is that, will there be a backwards moving back from that? How much autonomy is he going to have? Obviously he won't be making player personnel decisions. I'm sure he'll have some pretty nice suggestions. I'm sure a lot of people will want to play. That's another thing. If you're a free agent and you know that your new manager is now Bruce Bochy, that's got to be a big
huge
check mark too. I mean, 3 World Series in the odd year or in the even years, 10, 12, and 14. Beat the Rangers obviously in 10 and 5 games. They were a wild card team, I believe. Yeah. So good. This is a big hire. This and was Chris Young going to make a splash? Everybody kind of thought, yeah, he's probably going to make a splash.
That's a splash.
That's a cannonball.
That's a cannonball.
Yeah.
Hey, and it can't go without saying this either. Tony Beasley, hats off. That guy went into one of the toughest situations, loved and beloved by this organization, so much so that even before anything happened, they said, if we don't hire him as the manager, he has a job in this organization if he wants it.
Yeah.
Now, he's a popular guy. He could get snatched up by anybody and go somewhere. And best of luck to Bees no matter what. But hats off for what he did coming in and handling this big crap show that happened here when everything went down, and came on with us, talked to us the week that he took over the job.
Yeah.
Which he stopped down to do that, and his head was probably still reeling. Can't say enough. We love Bees. You and I love Bees. He's just one of the sweetest guys in the world. Good baseball man.
Yeah.
Hope he stays.
Yeah. The Rangers need a third base coach. So, go ahead and go with that. I mean, you can look back at Bochy's staffs in San Francisco and wonder who he'll draw on from there. Would he take over? Would Bees be a bench coach? I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I'm sure that Bruce will have the ability to make
his own
multiple
decision.
hires. I'm guessing the pitching coach will
be his biggest.
Do you remember who his pitching coach
was in?
I don't have a huge influence on that. So, it might have been Dave Righetti. Does that sound right? Anyway, again,
my brain's not like yours. You're more likely to know than
this.
Me.
Literally just happened within the last 20 minutes. So we were getting ready to shoot it and looked it down on my phone, and holy cow! So we're kind of flying off the cuff here, but
we'll do our interview with Cody and we'll break it to him. Hopefully, he doesn't know about it.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so it just seems like now the world is the Rangers' oyster. I mean, I know it's a 20-minute high here of the Bruce Bochy thing, but possibilities. We've talked about the free agents last week. What about trades? We got
we got to get into trades, and Pablo Lopez is up here for a reason. Okay, Bruce Bochy's hired. Now he looks into a pitching coach. Now free agency is going to start as soon as the World Series. They're about to look like we're going to have our World Series. We're in the championship series right now. When you go into it, we've talked about free agents that could possibly be coming. They've talked Rodon, everybody's stuff. But trades is a way that we got to look at it. That's another big way to do it. Pablo Lopez, a name mentioned. A couple other names too that are kind of out there. What do you think? I mean, that's a good way to get a pitcher a little bit on the cheaper than signing a big free agent. Yeah.
I mean, there are two currencies in baseball. There's money and there's prospects. And the Rangers are pretty darn well off in both.
Right.
And you look at the top 10 and you were listening with the same ears I was. Jim Callis says the Rangers have the best top 10 prospects in baseball.
All of baseball.
That tells you right there. And it's not like it falls off at number 11. It keeps going, and and there's a deep system. You kind of And look, Pablo Lopez is one of the guys. You got the two guys from Milwaukee, Woodruff and Burns. Shane Bieber, I almost called him Justin. Former Cy Young winners in there, you know, Burns and Bieber. They're all under control for the next 2 seasons.
Right, 25, they're free agents.
You know, Cleveland really can't afford, and has shown throughout time with, you know, Jose Ramirez an exception, that they usually don't extend players. Milwaukee's going to be in a tough spot too financially because
18 arbitration
they're so
people out
young.
here.
They have a lot of arbitration guys, including Woodruff and Burns. It just would seem like it'd be too hard for them to keep both of them. So, you know, do you trade them?
Who costs
one
more,
of them,
Burns or Woodruff?
Well, I would think Burns would be the more attractive of the two. And you know, so you look, all right, well, what's a deal like that look like? You know, because they're under contractual control, that adds to their value. It would, you know, cost more prospects. It's not like the Yu Darvish Padres trade when he was in a 6-year, $126 million contract that I think he's still in.
Right.
Anyway, you know, the Padres were able to pull that deal off by sending, I believe, Kyle Davies and 4 prospects who were outside the top 10. And the Cubs sent Darvish and a catcher. So I just don't know that deal is a good comp here. But, you know, maybe the Luis Castillo deadline deal that the Reds and Mariners made.
Right.
You know, the Mariners sent, I think, 1, 3, and 5, their top prospects. They sent a lot. And is that something that the Rangers want to do for 2 years? And you know, the price will be down this offseason because it's a half season less. You're not trying to win a pennant. So, but you still kind of wonder, and it'll be interesting to see, you know, and it'll be interesting to see if the Rangers would overpay for that. If they want to, if they do they go out and automatically try to sign him to an extension, you know, whichever pitcher it is they get. So, but I think trade's a really more likely avenue. You know, you can talk about, if you look at the rotation as a whole, how long do you want to have guys under contract? Because you do have Jack Glider and Kumar Rocker and Owen White, Cole Winn.
It's going to be a hugely deep starting pitching.
Right. And you want them in your rotation to counterbalance these extensions and the Corey Seager, Marcus Semien
wonderful
contracts.
problem to have if your prospects are better than your starters.
So that's what you want. So, you know, do you want to sign a bunch of guys to 5-year deals? Well, no. Do you want, you know, because you got John Gray, Martin Perez, you think you want to re-sign, or do you just let him say, hey, you know, we're going to give you the qualifying offer. Take the 1 year or go out and get your own. You know, the qualifying offer is a little more than $19 million this year. For Martin, that would be a 500% raise roughly. You might want to check my math on that, but you know, and Martin, 1 year, 19. If he replicates what he did this year, he'll go into free agency next offseason without the qualifying offer attached, and having pitched like a $19 million a year pitcher.
And he's only 31, right?
31.
31.
He turns, I think his birthday is April 4th. He'll be 32, but
what is DeGrom? DeGrom's 34.
Yeah, he's older.
Then you're looking at people like Kershaw, who's in his mid-30s. People have been talking about Verlander as a free agent. What is he, 40?
Yeah.
I mean, Perez is we've said this over and over. He's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
To me. I mean, you know.
And a 1 year deal makes sense. Yeah. I mean, you know, teams would love to sign everybody for 1 year, honestly, but a 1 year deal wouldn't be the worst thing. I still think there's room to get him for 3 years at a price that makes both sides happy.
Absolutely. I think so too.
But anyway, there's a lot going on now all of a sudden, you know, and it started 25, 30 minutes ago with the announcement that Bruce Bochy is the new Rangers manager. So, let's break it to Cody, and we'll save it for the end. How about that?
And we'll go there. Let's get Cody on now. Then we'll go down in the bus leagues. My top 20 come out. We'll talk about that. So let's go right now to Cody Freeman. Bruce Bochy, the new manager. This is huge.
All right.
Freeman joining us right now from Surprise, Arizona, where he is playing actually in the Arizona Fall League. It's Texas Rangers catcher and a little bit of infield prospect, Cody Freeman. Cody's joining us now. Hey, what's going on, man?
How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for agreeing to come on. You know, we do a lot of minor league guys. We had Colby Lewis though last week. He came in studio and sat where I'm sitting, and he's a giant guy. And I don't know, you've probably seen him around. He told me he was in Instructs a couple weeks ago, but yeah, Fall League. I mean, you played a full season. Aren't you tired?
I don't like saying I'm tired because it mentally it gets to me. But those cold tubs I've been doing and recovery stuff, it's been helping out a lot. But it's definitely been a long year.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, as people have figured out, you're now mostly a catcher. I mean, I know you played some infield this year at Hickory. You came to the Rangers as an infielder. How is this transition going to catching?
It's going really smooth, really well. Especially now that we have a catching coordinator, Garrett Kennedy, and he's just been helping me out so much here in Arizona, and just learning game in, game out from all these pitchers from 2021 Instructs when they told me to put the gear on to now. It's just big progress and just learning even more. And Bobby Wilson, all those guys, they've been helping me out so much.
Yeah, what was that like when they said, "Hey, man, you want to catch?"
I was up for the challenge. That's just who I am. I'm a competitor. I was like, all right, bring it on. Let's try it. And next, within not even a week, I'm catching in a game. And it's like, hey, all right, let's do it.
Had you ever? Did you catch in high school? I mean, what's any background catching?
I mean, when I was like probably 12 or 13, maybe like a month of catching, and I hated it. Like that's what my like.
Everyone at that age hates it.
Let's try it. And then just I don't know, it was travel ball, so it wasn't like as competitive. So I did it and I was like, yeah, not a fan. And then just, I guess 1 month of catching experience. That's pretty much it.
All right. What, I mean, you don't just stand back there and catch the ball. If that was the case, anybody could do it. What is for you? What's been the biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge is probably my receiving right now. The blocking, the throwing, calling a game, pitcher catch relationship, all that stuff comes into factor too. But I'd say physically, the thing I probably want to work on the most is my receiving. So I mean, it's been proven, like I said, with Garrett and just over the years, and it's getting there.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Rangers are, if you look at the catching framing runs.
Yeah.
That's apparently a stat. The top two this year were in the American League were Jose Trevino and Jonah Heim. And they, last year they were so good too when they were teammates. They learned it under Bobby Wilson. And I mean, this is a big deal for this organization, trying to get strikes for the pitchers. So how delicate is that? How subtle of a movement is that?
It's I mean, like you said, subtle, trying to stay as quiet as possible. But like you said, with those guys like Trevino and Heim, I mean, I'm going to be with Trevino this offseason, working with him. So that's just even a plus. And appreciate him for taking me under my wing in 2021 big league camp. He took me right under my wing right away and started working with me a lot. And I just can't wait for this offseason to work with him.
So where is that going to be? San Antonio, or is he going to work out here?
Correct. He's in San Antonio. That's where he lives, and I'll be in Austin. So it's about a 45-minute drive. So I'll be going out 2 or 3 times a week. So it'll be pretty cool.
What are you going to be doing in Austin?
So I have family that lives there. My girlfriend lives there. I have my strength guy that lives there. I just have all the resources I need, and just works out perfect.
All right. Now, Austin, are you does your girlfriend go to UT or what's the deal?
She's got 1 year left there, and she's graduating and doing her thing.
Are you a Texas fan, or are you still rooting for the folks back in the LA area?
Honestly, I never grew up a USC, UCLA fan, any of that kind of stuff. But obviously, I my brother was committed to TCU. So those first 2 years, I rooted on them Horned Frogs, and I was committed to Baylor. Then it was all green and gold. And then it's like he goes to the guard, or drafted by the Indians. I get drafted. It's like kind of lost the love. But like I love college football. But like right now, as in school wise, I'd say like just to make her happy. Like when I'm with her, I'll root on them Horns. But I still got a little bit of green and gold in me in my heart.
All right. Well, this my website is called Rangers Today. We have frogs today at this studio. So UT, John's holding up his hook'em horns here.
That's right.
UT and Baylor.
Cody knows what he's doing.
Not the biggest TCU favorites, but not going to hold it against you. I get it. But yeah, college football.
My first college football was TCU, and it was my brother's. I think one of his visits, and I loved it. I was like, "Yo, I'm coming here. I'm coming here." And then I started visiting the schools, and I was like, "Dang!" And California coaches went to Baylor, Steve Rodriguez, Don Strauss. They talked me into going there. I did it, and I was like, "Yo, I'm always like I said, I'm a competitor, and playing against my brother was always a goal." And he gets drafted, and it's like, "Gosh, there goes that one." And then I get drafted, play against each other in spring training, and then now it's just like we're he made it, and I'm close. I'm getting there, and then I'll be a dream come true.
I remember when you guys faced each other in spring training that year. He popped out, right, to like end the game.
Correct.
And you grounded out to him, right? Is that? Am I remembering things right?
Yes, you are. I grounded out to him at shortstop in the 7th inning, and then he flew out to me in the 9th inning, last pitch to end the game, and then we won.
Yeah, sometimes my memory scares me, but
it scares me. Good Lord!
All right, but you didn't pop out. You hit 13 home runs this season. Where are you offensively? I mean, you pack a little punch.
Yeah, it was a good year, as in like power numbers. I was like, it just like my first year, I didn't hit 1 home run. My second year down east, I hit like I think 6, and then this year 13. It's like it's slowly coming. It just like starts in the weight room, and it starts with Cody Atkinson, all those guys hitting and stuff like that. And I just continue to feel more comfortable at the plate and out here facing the best competition out here. It feels really good. I'm excited to get going.
Yeah, I mean the fall league is usually loaded with talent. I mean the guy you're catching with is Henry Davis, who was the first overall draft pick last year ahead of Jack Leiter.
Right.
And then the Rangers' first round pick this year, Kumar Rocker, is on the team, and now you're catching him. Give us a quick Kumar Rocker background or breakdown of what you've seen so far from him.
I mean, I've seen nothing but like success. I mean, for a guy to go from college to pro ball, like kind of like think about it as getting your feet wet, like settling in type thing. Like, oh, he'll get there. Like, no, like he's on the mound, he's doing his thing. Like he's a pro. Like he got drafted where he should be, and the Rangers. I mean, it's a great pick. That dude's gonna be something special.
I mean, the fastball, we know about the velocity. The slider's the pitch, though. Is that right?
Correct. That's called a curveball, but it's like a slurve type thing, but it's nasty.
Now, somebody told me he can take velo off it to make it more like a true curveball.
Yeah, he does do that during the game sometimes without just like telling me or like like how pitchers are. They'll like get in their own head sometimes. Not saying he gets in his own head, but pitchers will like to do some stuff that just all right.
At Hickory though, to start the year, that rotation was very, very good.
Good rotation.
Who did you like? Who do you like the most? I'm sure you like them all, but like Owen White was there. Mason Englert came on strong. Vanasco finished pretty well. We can't forget our buddy TK Roby.
Right.
What did you see this year from those guys?
I mean, you said it perfect. Like on paper, it's like game one. It's like, oh my gosh. I mean, if this team sticks together, we will win everything. We'll win the division first half. We'll win easily the Sal League. Like it's like that was one of the best game one like lineups probably in minor league baseball. And we all coming in, we all knew that too. And just catching those guys, like seeing their routine, seeing how they get after in the weight room, seeing how they get after and catch play, all that kind of stuff. And it's just like they bring it into the game and just, I mean, again, like I know you asked like who I like the most, but like it's pretty much even with all those guys. Like it was fun catching when I did.
Yeah, well, it's not fair for you to pick one out. I don't want somebody hating you or thinking, man, I thought you liked me the most.
What was that?
I don't want anybody hating on you.
Exactly. Yeah. After the podcast, someone's gonna come. Oh, you don't like me anymore, or something like that.
We don't need that.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the outlook for you next season? What are your? Do you look too far ahead? Do you? I mean, it seems like Frisco's a possibility. Do you let that enter your thought process, or you just wherever your feet are?
Yeah, exactly. Like you beat me to it. I tell you where my feet are right now. I'm in the fall league, doing what I'm supposed to do here, and then in the off season, I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do in the off season. And when the time comes, And I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm a pretty much be where my feet are at type of guy.
All right. So if you said you watched the Evan Carter episode, then you're totally familiar with our format that I asked the hard-hitting baseball questions. I'm sure you were really sweating those out. And John here likes to have a little more fun. So,
All right.
John, here you go.
Hey, this guy's from Cucamonga, right?
Rancho Cucamonga?
Correct. Rancho Cucamonga.
Rancho Cucamonga. Cucamonga. I'm a Texan. I can't talk. That's what
A lot of people get it wrong.
Now, you went to Etowanda High School, is that right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other sports you played when you were growing up or in high school?
No, sir. My dad never. I wanted to play football my whole life, but my dad never let me. He never let me put the pads on.
So never at all, huh? I never got it in there?
Never. I tried every year. I begged my mom, like, please sign me up. Don't let dad know. But dad always said no. He never wanted me to.
So no basketball, no soccer, golf.
I mean, like probably when I was 4, I played 1 year of soccer. I hated it. It wasn't me. But baseball was always it.
Well, I mean, it's in the blood.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so you committed to Baylor. You've already said that. Any other schools you considered? Were you like on the fence? I mean, you said you came and visited TCU. Who else made some offers to you?
I had some local offers like the West Coast guys, but like I was always like I'm playing baseball, D1 baseball in Texas. So I mean, I was like I talked to UT a few times and they never offered, but I mean TCU tried to get me with such a minimum amount just because like my brother tried to do a little package deal. So I was like, nah, sorry, Horned Frogs, and just moved on. Baylor was my next like little visit / like walk around, like let's see what it is. And I fell in love with it, and they had success those few years, and
yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did. Okay, so but you chose instead because you were drafted in the 4th round by the Rangers in 2019. You were 4th. That was a good draft that year.
Good
in
draft.
fact, yeah. You had Josh Young that year. You had
Davis Wenzel.
Wasn't Bradford in that draft too?
He was.
Yes.
Ryan Garcia was in the draft.
Ryan Garcia. I mean, this is a great top part of the draft here. You're 4th round that year. So this is always a fun question to ask. Where were you when you were drafted, and how did you find out you'd been drafted?
all right, so I was in my living room on that. I think it was a Tuesday morning because the draft was on Monday, rounds 1 and 2, and then Tuesday morning I was in my living room with. So that Monday night after the first 2 rounds, I got a call from my agent saying, "Hey, the Rangers are really interested. They're probably going to take you in the 3rd or 4th round. Be ready." So I had my family, friends, high school coach come over, and we're sitting there Tuesday morning, and then come 4th round, is called my name, and then my friends picked me up, threw me in the pool, and we just started going crazy. It was fun. It was a day I always remember. I still have the video too.
I hope you didn't have your phone in your pocket. That's my biggest fear now that we have a pool.
Oh, I threw my phone out right. Well, I didn't throw it out right away, but I was like, "Yo, hold on," because like the second I got called, like, I mean, my last name wasn't even called. My head coach from Baylor called me. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It's kind of like he knew where I was going because my last name wasn't even called yet, and he called me.
But yeah, no, my fear, like when I go out and clean the pool or whatever, is that I'm just going to drop my phone in the pool.
Oh,
I'd rather lose my wallet than my phone.
Yeah, everything's
on that one.
Yeah, it's all contacted now. Everything that you got's in your phone, and you do that. Okay, so let me ask you this: so when did you first realize you had pro scouts checking you out. I mean, was it your junior year? Was it your senior year? When was it you were like, man, there's a chance here. I got guys watching me and talking to me.
So honestly, like sophomore year, my brother was a senior. So, I mean, he got all the scouts there. I'm like, okay, this is my time to prove to these guys that like, hey, we're going to come back in a couple years. And I did what I did that year, had a pretty successful, good year. We won state that year. And I was like, all right, perfect. And we didn't have any like draft guys my junior year. So then senior year is when I started, like, they started coming to like fall games, like in-home meetings, practices, and then games and stuff like that. And it was almost like I had the mentality like whatever happens, happens. Like I'm going to school, like that's my mentality. But like just so like doesn't get in my head and stuff. But it's pretty hard. Like just take a deep breath and like see 10 cameras on you, and it's like, oh my gosh, like I can't play baseball right now. Like I'm a little nervous. I see what my brother went through, and like I'm like, okay, makes sense. But yeah, it was definitely my senior year.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. So let's get away from baseball. When you're outside of baseball and not playing, what is it you like to do? Do you hunt? Do you fish? Do you play golf? What's something that you like to do when you're not playing baseball?
Honestly, like I don't like golf. I hate it. I'm so competitive because like I hook everything tails. I've tried a few times because it's a baseball thing, and it's just it's not me at all. I don't hunt. I don't fish. Honestly, like I really come season, like it's like I go home. I mean, I go to the field, come home, and just hang out. Like I just chill. I'm more of a chill guy. Like I don't really play too much PlayStation. I did, but like literally just I'm pretty much more of like a homebody at this point. Like in the off seasons when I'll start like, you know, I'll go to the beach or like, you know, do that kind of stuff. I don't know if you ever heard of spike ball, but I love spike ball.
What is spike ball?
Yeah,
kind of like pickleball?
Spike ball's like the net in the middle. It's like four guys surrounded, and like you hit a ball and like and the net. It's kind of like
it bounces off of it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like a little trampoline kind of thing.
Yes, right.
I've seen the videos, and they spike it off of it, and it's kind of it. I've seen that. That looks fun. I'm too old. I would.
Yeah, that's I guess you could say my off the field thing to do.
All right. Let's get into food. So, favorite kind of food. What's your favorite kind of food you like to eat?
I'm a big hibachi guy. Like steak, fried rice, shrimp. That's definitely my go-to.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All
right. So we're going to get into fast food, and we're going to have to be controversial with him.
Well,
so I mean, you eat fast food. Are you a burger guy? What's your favorite fast food place?
Yeah, definitely like a burger or like a chicken sandwich. But I don't think Chick-fil-A like beats anything. I think.
Yep.
Chick-fil-A is your number one?
Yeah, that's what he said. He thinks Chick-fil-A beats them all.
Chick-fil-A is one. In-N-Out's right behind it. But like when I want a burger, obviously In-N-Out's number one. But like talk about overall like variety things to like choose from, I definitely go to Chick-fil-A.
All right.
Okay, so and he chooses In-N-Out. That's fine. He's a California guy. Have you had Whataburger?
Yes, I have, and I actually had it in Austin about right before I left here, in between that 2-week span after the season, and it's just like I don't want no Ranger fans like bashing me, but it's just it's a normal burger. It's nothing too crazy. It's not saying it's bad, but In-N-Out blows Whataburger through the roof.
In your mind, that's what. Okay, you know what? That's not controversial.
No, the thing I like, Whataburger, you can.
What was that?
Whataburger takes forever.
Yeah,
that's my problem with Whataburger.
In-N-Out,
but the drive-through line in In-N-Out is outrageous.
It's outstanding.
But like In-N-Out, you can get.
And when Trevino was with the Rangers, me and him would always like argue back and forth about it, like on Twitter in person, like. And he had some. He had posted like, because I think he posted something about Whataburger being better than In-N-Out. I quoted it, and he said something, and it got the Ranger fans going. Like he's like, better change it before you get to Arlington. All this kind of stuff.
Now, do you do animal style? I mean, animal styles. When I go to In-N-Out, that's how I do it.
I'm very plain. I'm just cheese, meat, ketchup, and then I'll get spread and just like put it in there. But like, yes, I'm pretty basic.
What is animal style?
It's kind of like Thousand Island dressing.
Oh,
but it's got all kinds of stuff.
It's good though. I mean, that's pretty good.
I get the fries well done.
Okay, Now let's go to your favorite home cooked meal. What is your favorite home cooked meal, and who cooks it? Is it mom, grandma, girlfriend? Who cooks your favorite home cooked meal?
And what is it? Mom. Her enchiladas are something else. Like, it's like every time if I come home, like that first day after the season or after camp in Arizona, and she's like, enchiladas will be ready tonight. And it's like,
well, okay. Are they cheese? Are they chicken? Are they
chicken and
churro sauce?
Chicken and cheese with green sauce.
Oh man.
Yep.
That's right.
You got a Mexican place in Surprise you go to?
I love Chipotle. It's I guess, like, I was in real, everyone says it's not real Mexican food, but like, I think it is. I love it. Okay. Can't go wrong with it.
Because there's a place off of Reams called Ritos that is delicious. And you can get red or green sauce.
I just had Oscar's Taco Shop last night, honestly. And it's right here on
Taco Shop.
I think we went there.
Is that where you and I went?
Yeah, Oscar's is good. Yeah.
Him and I went there during spring training.
Right there by the stadium.
All right, we got two more before we let you get out of here. First of all, we're going to play the home run game. I play this with everybody. Okay, we're going to talk about 3 home runs. Sometimes you might mix in 2 in there and then be 4. That's fine. But the first home run is going to be 1 home run. I want you to tell me about the first home run you ever hit over a fence. How old were you and where were you?
Okay, yes. Funny how you asked that. I was 11 years old in Las Vegas, Nevada, in like one of the tournament's championship games, and dead center. I mean, the fences are 200 feet, but dead center. I was like, I hit it. I'm like, uh-oh, and I started going crazy because my dad was coaching first base, and I was like jumping up and down. But yeah, it was in Las Vegas, Nevada, 11 years old in a championship game.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That's good. Okay, now the second home run, the most exciting one, whether it's high school, minor leagues, when you played when you were younger in travel ball, the most exciting. Did you ever have a walk-off or you tied the game in the ninth or put them ahead? What's the most exciting home run you've hit?
Funny story. I mean, I was on a podcast this was in Down East, and about, I think, the first week of the season, I got on a podcast. And the guy, his name was John. He asked me, he's like, "Hey, like, are you like have you hit your first home run yet?" I was like, "No, but when I do, it's going to be memorable." So 2 weeks later, we're in Charleston, and we're down 3-2. We're down 3-2, top 9. We're in Charleston. Runner on third, Dustin Harrison on third, and then 2 outs, 2 strikes. Guy throws a fastball at like my face. I chop at it and it goes over the right field fence. And we're going crazy because it's week 3 of the season. Our record's great right now in Down East. And everyone was going nuts. It was a sold out crowd that day. I think it was like a Friday night. And then Charleston had crazy crowds. And they were going crazy, chirping. And it just went from loud to like crickets. And our dugout was going ham. We were going crazy. And that was definitely my most memorable, was my first pro home run.
Okay.
Hey, yeah. The other.
Yeah, the last one's going to be the bomb, the big one. What's the one you've hit the furthest? You knew it was gone the minute you hit it, and how far do you think it went?
Oh yeah, that was definitely in, I think my second home run this year in Hickory. Fastball, but in, I hit it. I gave it a little look, and then I started running. But that's when I definitely knew. That was like my first, like, I guess, no home run. Or
no doubter.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd say it was definitely probably 410, maybe around that, maybe a little less. But it was.
Which way, left field? Did you turn on it or center?
I turned on it.
All right.
Okay. Last question.
Last question. I know what it is. You may have heard this one. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, this is last question. What is something nobody knows about Cody Freeman? We've asked this to a lot of guys. You got different answers all over the place. Some of our best is Jack Leiter can't stand peanut butter, hates peanut butter. That's one of them. What's something that nobody knows about Cody Freeman?
I would say like just my close ones obviously know, but like no one knows that I do not eat any vegetables.
You what?
Not one vegetable I'll eat. I mean, there was the only thing that is doable is lettuce. That's it. But when it comes to anything else, I will not eat it. I will not eat a vegetable.
Really?
Really?
My nutritionist didn't like that the first year, but we made it work. There was like some powder, some green powder, something along those lines that like I made work. But yeah, I will not eat a vegetable.
What about fruit? You eat fruit?
I love fruit. I love fruit. I will not
So
eat
like
vegetables.
no broccoli.
Nothing.
What about mashed potatoes?
I'm honestly, I didn't know that was a vegetable.
Potatoes are
like
vegetable.
mashed potatoes, you would think as like French fries type thing, but like,
Yeah.
I can eat mashed potatoes for sure.
Well, look,
Are they a root? Are
I think
potatoes a
could be.
root? Maybe I don't know.
Could be.
I've always thought of them as a vegetable.
I think you ought to let Cody know
Okay.
that if he got to the big leagues this next season, would his manager already be in place?
Yes.
So what just broke? You're going to hear this for the first time, buddy.
Yeah. Bruce Bochy is the new Rangers manager, a former catcher.
Is he?
Yeah.
He is. I just saw it come across my thing. I saw why you looked at your phone.
Yeah.
You heard it here. Now, this is already everybody's going to know about this by the time it goes out. But Cody Freeman, you were with us when we found this out, and you now know your big league manager when you get there is going to be Bruce Bochy.
Let's go. I'm pumped up.
He's got a giant head.
He does have a giant head. It's not yours isn't near as big as his. I've heard it's
But he's got 3 big rings too, so that'll work.
Hey, Cody, in all seriousness, buddy, we know how busy your schedule is. You're going again with the Arizona Fall League. It's fantastic for you to stop down and talk to us and take time out of your day. We really appreciate you coming on with us.
No, absolutely. Thank you guys again so much for having me, and looking forward to seeing y'all maybe in spring training.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. We'll see you there. That's Cody Freeman, catcher for the Texas Rangers, playing in the Arizona Fall League. Cody, thanks again, bud. We'll see you.
Yeah, thank you. See you. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
You too.
All right, big thanks to Cody Freeman for joining us, and excited about his new manager coming in. But we're going to get back next week. Hopefully, we can get him on, Bruce Bochy. That's our first job, is to try to get him on.
Yeah, and in regards to Cody, I didn't want to mention his brother. You know, his brother Tyler's like one of the Guardians' top prospects. Really good player. Obviously, somebody he looks up to. But I'm sure Cody gets beaten. I'm sure he likes answering questions about his brother, but we need to know a little bit more about Cody than just who his brother is. So
Absolutely.
I'm glad he took the time. He's a good kid, energetic, loves baseball. So, yeah, can't wait to see what happens with him. And if he's in Frisco next year, get him in the studio.
Absolutely. We'll get him in here. Okay. We got to go down in the bus leagues.
Yeah.
I did my top 20 list. We'll get to that in just a second. But first, I want to get into Arizona Fall League. A couple of guys have stood out from the Rangers that have been there. Acuna, the one especially, has kind of gotten off to a hot start.
Player. Yeah.
You've heard him?
I've heard of him.
Okay.
And I mean, Cody Freeman's hitting really well right
Yes,
now.
he has.
He's not collecting extra base hits.
353 or
but
something like that.
He's hitting well. And then, Rocker had his first bumpy start last time out, 3 runs in 2 innings. But, this is getting
New baseball, pro ball.
Getting
Yeah.
the feet wet. So
Absolutely.
I wouldn't worry too much about that. But the surprise team's really good.
Yeah, they are. They're doing really well. Okay. So I do every year I start the season with my top 20. You know my criteria. Cannot be in the big leagues. That's my criteria.
That's right. That's fine.
So Josh Young graduated off of there. So did Ezekiel Duran. So did Josh Smith. All of those guys came off. I updated it. Just finished 10 through 1. I did 20 through 11 last week. 10 through 1 came out today, which is Friday, by the way. Came out today. Any surprises for you or?
Yeah, I was looking over it. I thought you had. I mean, I like Tommy Sajaci. I thought maybe he was a little aggressive, but having him at
I really
9,
like Thomas.
I know you do, and a lot of guys do, and he had a fantastic year. But no, I thought
I'm big on this guy too. He jumped way up for me.
I thought Anthony Gutierrez probably should have been on your top 10.
Okay.
Just I think that he's a
He's
lot.
really
a
well
lot of
thought.
people love him.
Yeah.
In the organization, and he was a big international signing. So, Anyway,
Okay.
no, it's solid. I mean, it's names you've heard, so yeah.
But I have a whole new number one. And
I know
it's
you
not
do.
who people think it is. I think a lot of people just assumed that it would be Jack Leiter that would jump up. He was number 2 for me at the beginning of the year. Still love Jack.
Yeah.
Still easily could come in to be a number 1 prospect. I just gave him a slight bump just because of the season, which, by the way, I'm not disappointed in at all. The guy threw another 100 innings, was still hitting mid-90s by the end of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, had one little break with arm fatigue that he stopped down for a couple of starts and did that.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy came in and did what he needed to do his first pro. Maybe a little aggressive to move him to AA, but he held his own, stayed all season, hitting mid-90s going into it. When you fall behind hitters in AA, that's good hitting. I mean, it gets better at AA.
Right.
When you're in hitting counts in AA, I don't care who you are. Those guys can hit fastballs mid-90s and up if you're going to have to come at them with it.
Yeah, and I asked Ross Fenstermaker, who's an overseas player development, if in hindsight they thought that AA was too much for Leiter, too aggressive. And he said maybe if you want to see statistical results, it was.
Yeah.
But I think they saw what they wanted to see. They gave him a challenge. They saw a guy who's trying to learn how to pitch, had to learn some things, didn't have success, so maybe that makes him work harder. I don't know, but yeah, he could have gone to high A and pitched and probably had better numbers.
Yeah,
pitched in a more pitcher friendly league rather. But that's the route they went. They think it's going to pay dividends down the road. So I don't know if he goes to AAA next year or not. If he opens again at Frisco and has to make 5 or 10 starts there to show that he can that he has figured out AA. But what did you have him 3? Right?
I had him number 3.
Yeah.
A couple of guys, both Porter and Kumar for me, joined the top 20 that
Sure.
bumped a couple of guys for me. And, I'm a guy, too, with Leiter last year. I didn't have him as number 1 prospect like a lot of the publications did going into the season just because he had not played 1 pro inning.
Yeah.
And that was my only holdback for him. He played a full 100 pro innings
that
he pitched. Or 90, what was it, 100? 90?
Somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there. Anyway, so he held his own, and the only reason he dropped for me is the other 2 guys that jumped him, Owen White and Evan Carter, in my opinion, they not only stood out and did well. Owen did make the bump after starting out in A-ball and did well when he got there and pitched in the playoffs. Mason Englert was another one that I didn't have. I mean, I have some guys that didn't make this list. I got to be honest with you. It's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I bumped a few, but there are guys. Mason Englert had a great year. Ricky Vanasco, who struggled a little bit, the only reason he just got jumped by some guys that had better years. Yeah. He's another guy that finished off well. I mean, Cody Bradford, who had a great second half.
Really good.
Really good second half. Bumped off of my list too. You had a couple of guys like that. It is no indication of what I think of these guys. It has nothing to do.
Well, and it speaks to the depth of the organization.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's that currency we're talking about.
That's right.
I promise you, Cody Bradford, Ricky Vanasco, Mason Englert, those guys are on other teams' radars in trade talks.
Sure.
They're going to be there. They're not going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, we had the middle infield going, Maximo Acosta.
Yeah.
He fell off my list. This guy was in the top 10 for me before the season started. Yeah. And it's just because other middle infield prospects kind of jumped him and just did a lot better.
Yeah.
This year, Maximo didn't have bad numbers either.
Well, he was healthy. He played the whole year.
Right.
He had a really good stretch there in August where he got pretty hot. I mean, he was 19 on the whole year. I think he turns his birthday's next weekend.
Yeah.
So I mean, he turns 20 next weekend. So he's a young guy still.
Yep.
The COVID year probably hurt him. Getting hurt last year didn't help either. So
right.
Anyway. The list is at rangerstoday.com, which is
$5.99 a month,
or $60 for a year, $35 for 6 months. Which,
if you want to talk about Bruce Bochy and all the off-season moves, $35 a good buy right now.
Well, and it gets you past opening day, so it gets you all spring training where the big stuff's going to happen, and
when we get spring training, we're going to have stuff coming out
all the time,
the time, videos every day. Now that's free. Go hit the subscribe button down here below. And we're getting close there, guys. We're up over 900 now. We got to get to 1,000. Hey, tell your friends. Let me know you've told your friends. You go send that link to 100 of your friends and let me know. I'll put you in a drawing. Maybe I'll invite you up here to see an episode or something and meet somebody. I don't know. Show me prove me you've done it. Let's get some more people out there, especially the Ranger fans.
I mean, we don't have to stop at 1,000. We can get to
absolutely.
We can get to 1 million or 10 million, like Mr. Beast or whatever his name is that my kids watch. So yeah, I mean, let's not stop at 1,000. Let's grow this thing, get
absolutely.
the word out, and but yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of words. Bruce Bochy,
yes,
big deal. Some big things look like the Rangers made the huge splash last off season by signing Seager and Simeon, for $500 million, and now
this is the big splash this year.
Made a really big hire with the manager and Bruce Bochy. So hopefully. Hopefully in the next week or two, he's on our show. It'd be great to get him in here in studio. I don't know the chances of that. But,
I imagine he'll be doing some press.
We could zoom him in from Nashville or maybe Arlington, and have the Rangers do it for him. I mean, he is 67, so maybe he has trouble with technology. I don't know, but we'll see. We're going to find all this stuff out, John.
We'll find out Monday when he's there and do that. We also got an MVP in the house.
That's
Molly's
right.
Here.
Molly Wilson, MVP of the Smashing Sweethearts 8U softball team, had a solid season.
Saw some tape on her. She looked good. I'll tell you what,
good.
She's
good.
solid.
Yeah, she's a little under the weather, but
she fits right into the minor league system because she is not. She's not up in the big leagues yet, but that sounds good.
She's low A.
That's right. Yeah. Anything else before we get out of here?
No, just subscribe to both of our channels and stay tuned for some Bruce Bochy news.
Absolutely. Cody Freeman, thanks a lot for coming on, guys. Until next time, we'll see you at the yard.
Roxo Media House.